No.
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Wretched.
Thank you for taking the time to share your views. Your insights will help us to continue to improve our services. If you have any further feedback about our services, please contact feedback@gmc-uk.com.
Yeah, we're gonna listen to this in a minute. Oh yeah. Brother, can you hear me, brother? Yeah, that's done. Oh, that's done. Done. I don't know. I don't understand why it's so difficult for people.
Calls are recorded for quality
I've had the
training,
last
and
three
monitoring
people hang up
purposes.
on me.
The privacy notice on our
I was
website
asking just some
contains
general questions. Try not to get too upset. Um,
If you are a doctor,
we'll have a listen in a minute, won't we? Won't we, chat?
please press 1.
Um,
For anesthesia associates, please press 3. For everyone else, please press 4. You can check the status of anyone by using our online register. Please visit our website www.gmc-uk.org, then click Search to register. If you need help
they
connecting
don't
with
know
our
about the
correct
process.
team,
I'm asking questions about the process. I'm like, hey, yo, pre-adventure and all of that. Let me know. And
you can check the status
no.
of anyone by using our online
Um,
register. Please visit our
according to
website
them, after
www.gmc-uk.org,
4 to 6 weeks,
then click
they would tell me on whether or not they would take the complaint. And
send us a message 24 hours
and then I
after
said,
you
okay,
receive
so
it.
how long would the investigation take?
Within 2 hours following our
Oh,
message.
I don't know.
Thank you for your patience.
So
Good afternoon, this is GMC. Your speaking to How may I help?
hi, yeah, I just wanted to ask on a question.
Yep.
Uh, it's just I've not had an acknowledgement of my complaint. Um, so I was just wondering if um like if they would do the investigation now, like now that they have uh received my complaint.
Okay, when did you raise the concern?
Then July
July what date?
was the 9th.
9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can take up to 4 to 5 weeks to for them to triage it and then get back to you. Do you have an email address? I can see if I can look up your details.
4 to 6 weeks. Um, well, yeah, I haven't had anything. So would that be the investigation in the 4 weeks? Four to
Yeah,
six
so what
weeks.
happens is once it goes to concern, it goes to the fitness to practice team. They then look at your concern and they will assess it and then they will let you know whether they will be investigating it or not.
Whether or not they'd
Obviously,
investigate it. So wait. So what about referring them to trial?
the doctor to trial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The court's tribunal. So
Yeah. So that's if they decide to investigate it.
oh, okay. And so then obviously, yeah, and then I'd also know at that point if it was no further action.
Yeah.
Right, I got you. So yeah, so
So what?
they need the full time 4 to 6 weeks to obviously check everything and make sure that like is acceptable or what have you, and then obviously they will communicate to me their their next steps, I guess.
Yeah. So how did you raise the concern? Was it through the online form?
Online, and you should have had a paper copy.
Okay. I'll check if we've received that. Do you have an email address I can take?
Um, we're just gonna check if this is
Yeah, I'll
right.
see. Yeah, I'll see if it's up on the system. 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you also my I got a reference number.
I'll just check using the email first, just to see if I can get an update on that.
Yeah, because there's been no yeah, there's
Your full name, please.
it's
What's the reference number, please?
reference. Um, um, reference acknowledgement, complaint, this is Julie. There's that one. That one. Practice. Oh yeah, I got it here. So
I'm just going to check with the team if we've received that. You can hold the line.
yeah, of course.
Thank you.
There's been a few of these, and normally they hang up. Well, no. The last person she didn't hang up. She stayed on for a bit longer, but then she tried telling me that it was going to take 12 months. Anyway, we're going to listen to that after this. Um, I don't want to I don't want to ruin that conversation for y'all, but yeah, inadequate. Um, I don't know who she thought she was trying to cook. Um, But yeah, so the Parliament letter, yeah. If I haven't really spoke much on this, it's how many pages is this? One, two, three, four. It's a 5-page document. It's a five-page letter. It's a 5-page letter. That even includes professional negligence, failure to respond adequately to a formal complaint, improper conduct, unsafe withdrawal of prescribed controlled medications, patient safety incident. But yeah, welcome everybody. God bless. How are you? Doing very well. Thank you for asking. God bless you. Where are you from? I'm from my mother. She raised me as a child, like you once were. Amen, amen. Yeah, no, I'm from Bristol. Uh, sorry, yeah, we're still on the waiting list. Um, so yeah, it's broken down into 8 sections. So it's an 8-part, 5-page letter. Um, that yeah, it involves Dr. Stevens, who like is alleged or that these things had happened. Like I'm not. Yeah, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Uh, so just because somebody's being accused of something doesn't necessarily mean that they did it. And that even goes for Tate. As much as people like he self snitched, he, he he made it apparent, that he was human trafficking. And that's not right, man. To treat people that way. If he had done it, of course, it needs to be proven and such things. Uh, he should rot in jail if the allegations are against him are to be founded, to be true. So yeah, like God bless the survivors. I can't imagine it's been easy to come forth to the police, especially with their track record. I've already forgotten what the question. What were we even talking about with this lady? How will you how will you handle my complaint? She wanted to speak with her team members. Resolve. We will aim to conclude our investigation within 10 days of you telling us that you're not happy with our stage 1 outcome. Wait, what? Resolution. This is what I'm looking for. I've got it on the website. Well, but I'm trying to ask them because I'm not very good with looking for these types of things. And pre-adventure, I'd like to know what to expect. Okay. We will aim to conclude our investigation within 10 days of you telling us that you're not happy with our stage 1 outcome. Tell you as soon as we've reached a decision. So as soon as it's been reached.
Hi, thanks for holding. I do appreciate your patience. Sorry, there's no one available on the team, so I'm unable to check that for you. However, if you have raised it on the 9th of July, you should get a response by next Thursday.
Next Thursday is yeah.
Yeah.
So is that 20 working days? Would it
It
be
should be
within?
about, it's about 4 to 5 weeks at the moment, the time they take to assess.
Could you show me that on the website?
Yeah, 1 second, I'll see if I can bring that up. 1 second.
Final response. If we don't reach a resolution following previous two stages, we'll send your complaint to our corporate review team. We'll work with the relevant department, do another investigation, give you a final response. If our corporate review team decides no further action is necessary unless you raise any new information, considered it be closed, when we might redirect your complaint. In some circumstances, we can't deal with your complaint under our customer complaint process. In these cases, we'll redirect it to the appropriate team and let you know that we've done this. There we go. So there you go. So they would let you know that it's going to go to a different team if that's the outcome of the circumstances, because you have to give them opportunity to speak with the third party, speak to the relevant people, so that they know it's not fictitious, it's not um, a scam, you know, it's not malicious. When we might redirect, so yeah, the resolutions aim to conclude our investigation within 10 days of getting your complaint. Right. Right, we'll acknowledge receipt of your complaint within 5 working days. Um, so that's how we will handle it. When,
You see the reference number, that doesn't, that's confirmation that they've got your concern.
sorry, the reference number is valid.
Confirmation. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Sometimes
Yeah, well,
we won't treat your concern as a customer complaint. This is usually if we would be better to address your complaint through one of our other processes. This may be the case in the following situations. Doctors with a statutory right of appeal. Yeah, I mean, wow. So doctors have a statutory right of appeal. That's interesting. Obviously, like that's good. Um, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, for that case, no, it never happened. The Medical Act 1983 gives doctors the right to appeal. Yeah, the data breaching, appeal the results. Because I think when I submitted it, it said 20 working days, and so I'd like put that on my calendar, and I think it was this week. But I mean, if you're telling me it's going to be next week, it's a week. It's not really that much of a discrepancy. I just yeah, I just like to fact check because an earlier
no, that's absolutely fine.
an earlier conversation it was like 12 months. So I'm glad it's like gone down from that.
Yeah. If
Concerns.
there is anything, if you do want to follow up further, you can give us a call back after next week if you've still not heard anything.
Yes.
We should be able to get an update from any advisors. It's just they're not available at the moment.
Right. And so and obviously that would be at its limit then.
Yeah,
And
they
so
would go over it, so they would have to give you an update on where they are with that.
where they are with it.
Yeah.
So what if the practices are breached? What if what you say you will do won't happen? So I would need to uh, complain about like if that was the case.
I
Um,
mean, if you want to complain about the process, our
yeah,
process, I can give you the feedback email.
feedback email. Right, and what would I expect? So would that take 20 working like how what's your complaints process?
The complaint process, let me just bring that up here. So once you've raised the complaint about the process, it then goes to a different team and they will be in contact with you. I can't really give you, uh, a time frame on that because they would then look into when you raise your concern, if you had any updates, and then they will get back to you.
Right. Because the only other one is like referral to the tribunals. So yeah, I haven't had a response from my complaint. I've had the uh, what do I have? I had the reference number, but I've not had no response. So there's no professional available uh, that's able to talk about the case. Obviously, you tried to. So can I call to? Oh no, I'll obviously have to leave it till next week. All right, no, that's it. That's it for our call. Thank you very much. You've been
You're
great.
welcome.
All right, and all the best.
Thanks for calling. Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sweet. I'm not trying to be confrontational for the sake of being an idiot, trying to be like abusive. So we're gonna listen. I'm gonna go put this phone back because this is not my phone. We're gonna listen to this phone call in a sec and try and understand like was it me in the wrong? Because I am wrong. Wait, come on now. It's me. Interesting. I got stuff in the machine. Alright, you guys gonna have to wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, it's not even time for coffee. Oh, and then there was lunch. All these things I'm putting on one side. Because yeah, like the ICB didn't want to investigate. Um, and it says on the website, within 10 days, we will contact you if we were to investigate. Um, so I've looked on the website, it's not even on the website. So how is it even active if it's not even on the website? Because everything's online, it's online. You can get us, we've got a website now, Amazon has got a spot for us. Alright. Yeah, I don't think that conversation because what they're saying, after 4 to 6 weeks you get a response, and if you don't get a response then you can make a complaint. That to me, again, and she wasn't even able to show me where it says that on the website. Obviously I know 20 working days, I think that's just standard practice, but so when they're saying 4 to 6 weeks, they have to communicate to be like there were complications or whatever. Unless they on some next stuff. So
You're asking about my case when I didn't ask you that. So why would you want to look at my case when that's not my query?
No, I didn't want to look at your case. I asked for your name to see.
Yeah. Why?
It's just so that I could see. I don't have access to the concern itself because that's confidential, but I can see what stage the concern is at.
Yeah. That's again. I didn't ask you to look at my concern. I just asked you something about once a decision had been made. Following that, would I be informed of courts, tribunals, and so forth?
So if a concern is raised, then it will go through a process called triage, where we would look at the concern and any evidence against our remit, which is available on the website, and then we would provide an update on the outcome of the concern. Yeah.
After 4 to 6 weeks, there'd be an update, and what would the update be?
oh, I did say yeah, I did say what would it be? Because yeah, they wouldn't because they oh yeah, it was me. It was me. I was wrong. I did say it. And then I said to her, yeah, like did I ask that? So yeah, it was me. And this is why you have to record yourself. This is why you have to listen to yourself. Because you might think that you're talking sense, but you're not. So yeah, I was rude. Shut up, Dan. just just stop being nasty with people. Stop judging people. Stop being a narcissist. Attack people. Just chill. Chill. So yeah, it was me. Alright? I accept it. I was wrong. I was wrong. She was right. I did ask. Uh, but then, and it's still in here. It's like, alright, I'll give her that one. Alright, I'll give her that one. Just listen. So then,
Well done.
So you would have to contact them.
Your decision, and then you've got to get back to me within 20 working days. So I'm just wanting to know, would that be on the website, the decision, like?
The decision won't necessarily be on the website, no. We explain what the outcomes could be, which you can find on the website, but that's just general information. It's not necessarily individualized to your concern specifically. It's just general information.
No, it's not.
yeah, no, she's right. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, no, actually, yeah. Let me see what I say.
On the magistrate's one,
Again,
on the
another one.
magistrate's one, it said that it's got court cases for specific people. So
Yeah. And not only just that, obviously I'm talking about a different website. It says on that specific website, put in your reference number and look at the case. But listen.
So that's my. If it was then to go ahead to go to the courts tribunal, it wouldn't be on, I guess, yours. It'd be on the courts tribunal page for the hearing, right?
So the MPTS is a separate organisation to the GMC, even though we work closely together.
What then?
So you would have to contact them regarding that.
Regarding it, so they would have that information. You don't know.
I because I'm not able to identify who I'm speaking to, I just
Right.
wouldn't have access to that information now.
Right. So how would my name help you to understand your job better?
Because I would.
Unknown call.
I'm getting called. I think this is I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. That was their number. But then they calling my phone. Maybe it's about the case. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen. Let's listen. To,
You're asking about my case when I didn't ask you that.
oh no, we're back. So yeah, we're back to.
Right. How long would the and let's say it does go to tribunal? How long until that is the wait usually?
So if the GMC have decided to investigate the doctors or the doctors involved in your concern, then that whole process can take up to 12 months.
Yeah. For what?
To assess the concern and investigate the doctors.
Yeah. Where does it say that?
That's available on our website under the concern section.
I'm looking at it now. What part?
Let's go. Yeah.
So if you go to the website, at the top of the page, you should see a concern section.
Yep, I'll open it up now. Yep, concern.
Can we help with your concern?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Members of the public, 1, 2, and 3. You got get support and raise your concern. Where does it say 12 months?
Is this on the GMC website?
Yeah, gmcuk.org/CONCERNS.
Okay, that's fine.
And then it says members of the public. Are we the right organization? Know when we can take action. So how we will investigate your concerns. Is that the one you mean? And then we'll go into that. What support is available for you if we do not just decide to investigate? So where's 12 months expected wait time? It's not there. If we decide, let's try somewhere else.
So I'm just going to pop you on hold for a moment, if that's okay, and then I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, thank you. 1 second.
Thank you.
Welcome everybody.
I don't think they can find it, 12 months, she said. And then when she got fact checked, it was. Can I call you back? Who's the recording? Who's it? Yeah, that's okay.
Hiya. So the section on the website that explains a little bit more about how we investigate a doctor if we decide to start an investigation. The easiest way to get to it I found was to type in the little search box at the top right-hand corner.
Search box.
Okay. Yeah, should be like a white box with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So what you would type is how we investigate concerns.
How we
investigate concerns.
How we investigate. Yeah, investigate, and then what's it? Concerns. Okay, yep, got it in.
And then once you enter that, it should show lots of different results. But
Yeah.
hopefully the first one will say how we investigate concerns about doctors.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is the guide that will explain a bit more information.
More information. Oh yeah, is this going to say 12 months?
So.
Just point me to where it says 12 months.
Sure, 1 second.
I mean, Yeah, I don't want to read it all if it's just one part. That's relevant. Deciding to investigate a concern. I guess it would be there for like first one. Where we won't investigate. Where we will investigate. All right, if we decide to investigate, we'll get in touch with you. We'll open an investigation if we believe the concern, if found proven, means we would need to restrict your patient. Restrict your practice. This would include misconduct, yada yada. No, it's not.
It's technically a guide for doctors, but it's available in the public domain, so you can see.
Yeah, I'm not a
how
doctor.
the process works.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
No, yeah, of course not. No.
So
But
why would I?
it's a guide for.
Why would I look?
It's a guide for doctors.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not the one that's under investigation right now. Like they're the doctor, so I'm the patient. In the situation. So how long would it take for them to do an investigation? 12 months.
That's right. So this guide is for doctors, but it's available in the public domain for everyone to view. So this is the process in
Right.
which we would investigate a doctor that we've notified that they're under investigation.
Yeah.
So as a patient, you can read this guide to get a better idea.
But idea of what?
So about how an investigation is conducted by the.
Yeah, I didn't ask you that, did I? I didn't ask you that, though, did I?
Question is,
Sorry?
could you confirm what your question is, please?
You want me to tell you what my question is? Even though I was the one that asked you, I asked you the question, and you've already forgotten what the question was. So were you listening?
I was listening, but you're stating that this is not what you asked. So could you clarify what your question is?
You said, your words, not mine, 12 months would be an investigation. Yeah.
So if we've decided to.
If we no, that's not what I've asked you. That's not what I've asked you.
Just give me a second.
I just asked you.
If we've decided that we need to investigate your concern after we provided an update, then we would notify you, we would notify the doctor, and the whole.
Well, why did you say 12 months then? Well, why did you say 12 months?
Because that's correct. It's 12 months.
Show me.
So.
Because you're lying. At this point in time, you show me nothing, and you just told me to go and look at some guide that's for doctors. Like I don't know if you're right in the head or if you're just a plank at this point. Like
Okay,
I just
appreciate the
asked
frustration, but don't
a
ask me to not
specific
speak to me that way.
question.
If you continue to do so, I'll be ending the
12 hours, 12 months.
That's correct. It is 12 months. If we've
Show me.
decided, so
Show me where it says that. Since it's
your
your
question,
doctrine, since it's your policy, show me.
So if you
That-
if I'm given, you're asking me a question, you have to give me the opportunity to provide you the answer. As a video,
Yeah, and then yeah, that was your answer. If you're gonna give me the opportunity to speak, you gotta listen to my answer. Was that your answer? Oh, that you're not listening, and I'm the one that's listening. You're not the one that's listening. I said it was 12 months. Yes, it was 12 months. And now you have to listen to me finish this sentence. It's like, yeah, okay. You've said nothing factual at this point that suggests to me that you actually know what you're talking about. Show me on the website 12 months is the expected
you
wait
need to
time.
read that page and look at the video. So it is 12 months. If
Where?
you decided, you would need to read
Stage
the page
1
or-
investigation,
Yeah.
initial assessment, assess the complaint, send it to the appropriate person to respond. Okay, assign the complainant a reference number so it's easier to track. Bam, that's the first initial, alright? And then we go a complaint investigation. Once your complaint is with the appropriate person, we'll investigate it with help from the relevant team. So, right. So I'm expecting an investigation to be conducted at the time of having a response, correct?
I wouldn't be able to confirm that.
Why not?
I don't know what the outcome
Why
of
not?
the triage process.
She needs to know the
Why not?
She needs to know the outcome.
You
Because
don't need to know
that's-
the outcome. What would be
The next step.
the next step?
So the next step would be that we would update you of one of those three outcomes that I
Yeah.
Right, so it's an investigation completed, correct. You then would decide... Sorry?
I don't have access to that information. I don't know specifically what your circumstances
Did
are.
I ask you that?
Identify yourself.
My love.
Earlier in the conversation, I did. Earlier in the conversation, I did say, what was the outcome? I put my hand up. I said it. I shouldn't have said it. I was wrong. But in that spiel of communication, there's only 5 minutes left. Nowhere in there did I say what's the outcome. It's once the 4 to 6 weeks have been conducted, I'll get an update of the outcome. And she was saying yes, if I'm right. Let's just go back a little bit. I think she was conceding to the fact that once the time period had been concluded, then at that point it's their decision. And if their decision is like the worst case scenario, courts tribunal. Best case scenario, like for them, would be no further action, and then it would be complaints procedure for the first stage of them, because I've raised the concern. I've looked at the points that are associated with the concerns of which that they deal with, and we're going to look at that in a moment because that is important and relevant to this topic. And then from that point they will decide. I read on this page it says I should know their position on the investigation side should be concluded within 10 days. So they've communicated to me in this conversation that we've heard just moments ago 12 months. Cannot find it on the page. So we have people that decide the fates of our medical professionals, whether they can continue to carry on abusing patients, or whether or not their actions weren't actually deemed a risk to public safety, that they have shown a level of reasonableness that you would expect from any other doctor. Let's continue.
Your patient, to restrict your practice. This would include misconduct, yada yada. No, it's not.
It's technically a guide for doctors, but it's available in the public domain, so you can see.
Yeah, I'm not a
how
doctor.
the process works.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
No, yeah, of course not. No.
So
But
why would I?
it's a guide for.
Why would I look
So
at?
it's a guide for doctors.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not the one that's under investigation.
How an investigation is conducted by.
I didn't ask you that, did I? I didn't ask you that, though, did I? Sorry?
Could you confirm what your question is, please?
You want me to tell you what my question is? Even though I was the one that asked you, I asked you the question, and you've already forgotten what the question was. So were you listening?
I was listening, but you're stating that this is not what you asked. So could you clarify what your question is?
You said, your words, not mine, 12 months would be an investigation. Yeah.
So if we've decided to...
If we... No, that's not what I've asked you. That's not what I've asked you.
Just give me a second.
I just asked you...
If we've decided that we need to investigate your concern after we provided an update, then we would notify you, we would notify the doctor...
Wait, after providing an update, so the update is that's what she's referring to, 4 to 6 weeks. So after the update, from their language, we will then tell you if we're going to, like, when. And I said to her, when, like, how it takes 12 months, it takes 4 to 6. The last conversation we had, it would be Well, if you hear from, you should hear from them next week. If you don't hear from them next week, I'd put in a complaint. Um, that to me just sounds like they're trying to buy time, and at this point in time, we're in August, and it was late June that this incident had happened. And if it was serious enough, then I think you should be taken out of a job. Like, don't play with.
And the whole...
Well, why did you say 12 months then? Why did you say 12 months?
Because that's correct. It's 12 months.
Show me.
So...
Because you're lying. At this point in time, you showed me nothing. And you just told me to go and look at some guide that's for doctors. Like, I don't know if you're right in the head or if you're just a plank at this point. Like,
Okay,
I just
appreciate the
asked
frustration, but don't
a
ask you to not
specific
treat me that way. If you
question.
continue to do so, I'll be ending up...
12 hours. 12 months.
That's correct. It is 12 months. If we
Show me.
decided... So...
Show me where it says that. Since
Give me
it's
a
your
chance to answer your question.
doctrine, since it's your policy, show me.
So, if you...
That-
So, if I'm given... You're asking me a question, you have to give me the opportunity to provide you the answer. As a video...
Yeah, and then yeah, that was your answer. If you're going to give me the opportunity to speak, you've got to listen to my answer. Was that your answer? Oh, that you're not listening, and I'm the one that's listening. You're not the one that's listening. I said it was 12 months. Yes, it was 12 months. Now you have to listen to me finish this sentence. It's like, yeah, okay. You've said nothing factual at this point that suggests to me that you actually know what you're talking about. Show me on the website 12 months is the expected
You
wait
need to
time.
read that page and look at the video. So, it is 12 months. If
Where?
you decided... You would need to
Stage
read the page
1
and look at
investigation,
the video.
initial assessment, assess the complaint, send it to the appropriate person to respond. Okay, assign the complainant a reference number so it's easier to track. Bam, that's the first initial, alright? And then we go a complaint investigation.
Wait, so that is easier to track. I called them up. Oh, yeah, no, I can't tell you anything at this point in time. It's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, oh yeah, we've had it. Yeah, we've got a complaint, but can't. Yeah, yeah, nothing. So it's like easier to track when we want you to be able to track it. I'm there asking questions. Oh yeah, I put in the information. There's nothing on your website. Oh yeah, we wouldn't put any information on there. It's like, well, why would you say put your reference in here for information on the case? Oh yeah, well it doesn't say that. Like, or we don't put confidential information. We don't put people's personal information on there. I said, yeah. Who's gonna have that reference? Who's gonna have my reference to look at my individual case? No one. Only the people that I give it to. So, oh yeah, we try to keep people's details safe is nonsense. Don't like. I'm looking at the parliamentary one. You got Dr. Michael Shell, or whatever his name is. He's got a hearing. Starts on the 27th of July 2026. The hearing end date is the 29th of July 2026. So it's already been conducted, completed, and done. So it would go from one website to the next website. Alright, go on. Let's listen to the last minute of this enlightening experience we received.
You're asking about my case when I didn't ask you that. So
It goes back to the beginning when I paused it. So I'm gonna have to.
months is the expected
You would
wait
need to
time.
read that page and look at the video. So, it is 12 months. If
Where?
you decided... You would need to read
Stage
the page
1
and look at the
investigation,
video.
initial assessment, assess the complaint, send it to the appropriate person to respond. Okay, assign the complainant a reference number so it's easier to track. Bam, that's the first initial, alright? And then we go a complaint investigation. Once your complaint is with the appropriate person, we'll investigate it with help from the relevant team. So, right. So I'm expecting an investigation to be conducted at the time of having a response, correct?
I wouldn't be able to confirm that.
Why not?
I don't know what the outcome
Why
of the
not?
triage process.
Why not?
I don't know the outcome of the triage process.
You don't need to know the outcome. What would be the next step?
So the next steps would be that we would update you of one of those three outcomes that I discussed.
Right, so it's an investigation completed, correct. You then
I
would
don't have
decide...
access to that information.
Sorry?
I don't have access to that information. I don't know specifically what your circumstances are.
Did I ask you that?
Identify yourself.
My love, did I ask you what the outcome would be?
He just asked me what the outcome would be.
When?
I don't know.
When did I ask you what the outcome would be?
Okay, so I feel like this conversation is not...
No, stay. You've made your bed, now lay in it.
He knows me now.
Lie in it. Come on. No, you want to run, but let's listen to it again. So what would be the outcome then?
On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being bad and 5 being excellent,
You got 1.
please rate how
Yeah, I asked it when she hung up, but in that short period, that time I didn't ask what the outcome would be. It's just that there would be an outcome at that point in time. She's saying, well, no, like it takes a lot longer for them to complete an investigation. 12 months. It doesn't say that. So again, that's them trying to buy time. Oh yeah, it's 4 to 6 weeks. Show me where it says that. It doesn't say that. 4 to 6 weeks. Because if I'm looking at the calendar, yes, it's Thursday. Because that's 20 working days. So yeah, who are they trying to cook? Raise a concern about a professional, escalate a concern as you're unhappy with the response you've had. So, wait, yeah, where was the 10 days? I was just looking at. Get an explanation of what happened with your care. Alright, if you have a concern about patient safety or quality of care in England, there are a number of organisations who can help. In most cases, raising your concern locally where you receive your care is the best place to start. Yeah, they denied it. We would encourage speaking with the doctor, so the person that's being accused, the physician, and the AA who treated you about your concerns if you feel comfortable to do so. Yeah, no. They will be able to discuss your care and provide an explanation about what happened to you. They lied. They didn't. They agreed to what I said when I said that it was unhelpful. We would encourage speaking with the doctor, physician, or AA, the anesthesia associate, who treated you. So yeah, back again, encourage speaking about your concerns. If you feel comfortable to do so, they will be able to discuss. Yeah, they may also provide an apology. Apology. Right. Or a PA, or whatever it was, a PA. At your GP practice, it's best to raise this with the practice where they work. their understanding was that it was being closed, and they made no formal attempts to seek that formally. Um, they they believed a verbal confirmation was enough to close it and to not investigate the concerns that were raised. Concerns about your private care. If you if your treatment was funded by the NHS, you should refer to raise a concern about your treatment at a local hospital or services as outlined above. If you received your care from a private provider, they will have their own individual company process that you can follow. We'd encourage, should you feel comfortable in doing so, raise your concern with the practice manager of the hospital or clinic. In some cases, the hospital practice or clinic may be part of a wider healthcare group, part of a wider healthcare concern to the general public. Um, Definitely, as so you may wish to raise your concern with them. Wider healthcare groups. Um, so yeah, from the ambulance's visit, they had said that the incident they had attended was common. That it's something that is quite frequent within the NHS, and that other people were also having mental health episodes as a consequences of the lack of care and removal of prescribed medications unlawfully. Uh, so, uh, yeah, if people aren't going to stand up against it, because there's the whole power dynamic uh, element also as part of the abuse, because of course somebody's going to agree to withdraw a complaint they have raised, considering you're the one in possession of distributing their much needed medication that took you years, over a year to like put in place. I don't know how long it was. It was a long time. I was on like one medication. I was on. They literally. It was just not naproxen and a couple of it was like one or two codeines at night, like the lowest dosage. Um, and now it's like 100 milligrams amitriptyline, Phenergan, which is an insomnia tablet, and then opioids, uh, no, what's that other one? What's the new one? Opioids. Oh, I can't think of it. China is big on it. I can't think. Mine's gone blank. Fentanyl. Yeah, fentanyl patches, um, as well as opioids, paracetamol. Um, yeah, was not considered uh, until a later date. So yeah, there's cases here. So we've got a case going ahead. A doctor, the 7th of August. So wait a minute, wait. So you go to Crown Court. Your charges are rape, or you had committed a water deal, dad. So decision on impaired. Wow. Outcome. ERASURE. Decision on impairment. He was impaired. Area of incident, Preston. I think he's gone. What did he do? Contact us about observing a hearing. We aim to publish full details of this hearing within 28 days of being concluded. Let's go back. Wait. Let's go back then. View tribunal decisions. Okay. 28 days, yeah? Let's go look at July. Now June. Who we got? Not many British names. No, there's lots of foreigners. Lots of names that I just don't know what it is. That's not adjourned to a new courts tribunal. So that was the 13th of July. It's been adjourned. Suspended 3 months. Suspended 12 months. Suspended 7 months. Suspended 8 months. Conditions 12 months. What is going on? So it's not on their website, it's on the medical practitioner's website. 12 months. She wasn't lying, she just wasn't able to get me to that place. So Abdul. Yes sir. Abdul Rahman, yeah, impaired, misconduct, erasure, ERSA, misconduct. No, doctor. Let's have a look. So where is he? You know, professional. He was a doctor. He was a profession. He was a doctor. He's not a doctor anymore. He's been erased off of the services. Let's go back. Yeah, there's not a lot of English names. Ilhaukim Bundhu Patel McDowell Ahmed Abdel Jonathan Peters. There you go. It's English. Rabin Duran Rukmana Rabin Drana, Dr. Deepu Al-Kiri Hana, I can't even, it's from Chester, Dr. Mohammed Latu, Dr. William Gunn. Just looking at some of these names. Dr. Bashir Hamed Soida, Dr. Kate Eve, Dr. Anthony McCarth. You got Dr. Hughes, I think it's Ojuki Ojutikiu Camel, Dr. Camel, Bowley, Dr. Richard Bowley, Dr. Salahuddin Taj, Omar Aziz, Elliot Burns. So yeah, I mean, there's a good mix.
So erased, yeah. 6 months suspended. Bournemouth, Christchurch. 6 months suspended. What was he accused of? What did he do? Impaired. He was impaired. Decision of impairment, he was impaired. He's been suspended for 6 months. Do you know what the type of case is? It was misconduct. Misconduct. Download the full decision. Alright. Download in PDF. Here we go, it's here. We got the full decision. What happened? Right, facts relevant to impairment found proved misconduct. So suspended for 6 months immediately. Immediate order imposed. Dr. Phil Rossant, that was the chair. Alright, well, what happened? Record of determinations, attendance of the public, the press, in accordance to Rule 41 of the General Medical Council, Fitness of Practice, Rules 2004, the hearing was held in public. Throughout the decision-making process, the tribunal has borne in mind the statutory duty as set out in... Where's the charger? Where's the charger? Or where are we at? God bless. God bless. Yeah, set out in Section 1 of 1 of the Medical Acts 1983, the 1983 Act, to protect the public. The tribunal has considered the relevant and impact on each of the three distinct parts of public protection and maintain public confidence in the medical profession and to provide and to promote and maintain proper professional standards of conduct for members of that profession. Background. Okay, so the background. Qualified. So this doctor qualified in 1971 from the Moselle University Medical School. Prior to the events which are the subject of the hearing, the doctor has worked in the UK at a range of different hospitals since 1987. I don't know if that's concerning or if that's generally what happens. Beginning in chronologically before progressing to focus on dermatology from 2002. Since 2002, the doctor has worked primarily as a locum consultant. At the time of the event, doctor was practicing as a freelance consultant dermatologist in private and NHS clinics around the UK. Dermatology consultant. He was your man. The allegations that have led to the doctor's hearing relate to his conduct. It is alleged by the General Medical Council, so the General Medical Council, that in completing a new starter form in January 2025, the doctor dishonestly answered no to two questions that relate to his previous regulatory and disciplinary history. So he put no, dishonestly. By 2024, the doctor was working as a locum, through an agency for both Nuffield Health in Bournemouth and a smaller company called Omnes Healthcare. So wait. So they found that he's lied. He's lied about related to questions about his conduct, I guess in previous places. Um, so he put no to the question. Anyway, this is public information. I'm just reading what it says here. You can go to MT mpts dash uk.org, and you can read this for yourselves. Okay, it was lurking locum. Yeah, the new starter form. The form was being completed because of the doctor wish for Omnis to become his designated body rather than the agency. Okay, Omnis. So he's trying to transition from being 0 hour contract to actually being, um, in the books. Um, this is that's my opinion. I don't know, but this is what they've said. He was out the form. So the new starter form, the form was being completed because the doctor wished for Omnes to become his designated body rather than the agency, and that doctor I take over as his responsible officer from Professor B of the agency. Like that, I don't understand. Okay, the initial concerns were raised with the GMC on the 9th of March. So these were raised on the 9th of March. Was that this year? When was it? What year? Just 9th of March 2025. 2025. Now that's why you have to check the year. So the allegation came to them in 2025 of March, and this is now only gone ahead in June. And they even put the dates wrong on the form. It says on the form dates from the 4th of June 2026 until the 11th of June. So maybe that's the dates of which the proceedings went ahead. Wow. So the 4th to the 11th of June, I think that might have been the length of. So this was reported in the 9th of March 2025 by a doctor. The referral followed disclosure of an ongoing investigation by Nuffield Health. Investigation of what? What misconduct? What misconduct? The allegation and the doctor's response. The allegation made against doctor is as followed. That being registered under the Medical Act as amended on January 2025, you submitted a new starter form to Omnis Healthcare Limited. On the form, you answered no to the question, or have you been subject to any disciplinary or regulatory investigations? Admitted and found, proved. Are you currently subject to any restrictions on your practice? Admitted and found, um, admitted and found, proved. So he's mistreated. He's done something in a field he's no longer allowed to be in. He's got the knowledge. He's smart, but it's been found. It's been admitted. It's been found and proved. Like there's no wiggling around this. So that you thought you'd do a new startup forum, and people are not gonna call you out on your past behaviors. And according to the court's tribunal, you'll get suspended for 6 months for lying. But the misconduct. But so far, this is what is being proven. That was the first point. So it said, yeah, admitted and proved and found proved. Like, disgusting. I don't know what he did, but he did something wrong, and then he lied about it, and like we've all told lies, but you can't pretend like, yeah, like you like it never happened. You have to admit, and then it's up to the people to decide, like, has he repented and so forth. But they've taken it away from you. There's no way that you're gonna get back to that position, especially if you're gonna be lying on forums. Like, what the hell? You're supposed to be trusted people, held to a higher standard than the general public. You know, trust what they say. Okay, on the 4th of March, you were issued with a warning by the tribunal following a fitness to practice investigation carried out by the General Medical Council, admitted and found proved. On the 1st of April 2019, you were notified by the General Medical Council that an investigation had been opened into your fitness to practice. So wait, so that's what I mean. Like, was issued a warning, and then the following month you're notified of your investigation. Interesting. Interesting. So you were warned, given the opportunity to change your ways. The following month, we're gonna take him in. We're gonna have to give him a timeout, 6 months. You know, he's a good egg. It's just got a few cracks in him. Okay, on the 19th of December 2024, you were notified by Nuffield Health that you were subject to a fact-finding exercise, admitted and proved. 19th of December 2024, so you're talking 5 years. But on the 19th of December 2024, your practice at Nuffield Health was restricted. 5 years. Your conduct at paragraph 1 was dishonest by reason of paragraph 2A, to be determined. Paragraph 1B was dishonest by giving of paragraph 2D, to be determined. And that by reason of the matter set out above, your fitness to practice is impaired because of your misconduct, to be determined. The admitted facts. The onset of these proceedings through his counsel, Dr. Aziz made admission to some paragraphs and some subsections of the allegation as set out above in accordance with Rule 17.2d of the rules. In accordance with the Rule 17.2e of the rules, the tribunal announced these paragraphs and sub-paragraphs of the allegation as admitted and found proved. The facts to be determined in light of Dr. Aziz's response to the allegations made against him. The tribunal is required to determine whether the doctor's actions in answering no to the question on the form were dishonest. So that's the facts that they need to determine. His honesty. The tribunal received evidence on behalf of the GMC in the form of witness statements from the following witness who were not required to attend to give oral evidence. Who were not required. Wow. So Dr. I, a responsible officer whose statements was dated the 12th of June 2025, Miss C, hospital director and registered manager of Nuffield Health, Bournemouth, whose statements were dated the 9th of July 2025. Dr. Aziz provided his own statements dated the 7th of May 2026. 27 years ago. Is it 27 years? No, 2019, wasn't it? 2019, so that's eight years. Yeah, I think that's right. 28 years, oh my god. Anyway, the documentary evidence. Right. The tribunal has regarded to the documentary evidence provided by the parties. This evidence included, but was not limited to, the following: the warning issued in 2019, so 8 years ago, and associated documents, investigatory meeting notes from Nuffield Health, or the lack thereof, the doctor's new starter form for Omnis Healthcare, and then the letter to the doctor dated the 19th of December advising him of Nuffield's Health investigating, as well as acknowledgement of the receipt of the letter. So this is entirely about him lying on a form to change from a agency. He's sick of the 0-hourness, sick of these agencies not being a valued member of the team. You just, so you lied on a form, and the witness didn't have to come forward because it had already been proven. Previous dealings, right? In reaching this decision on the facts, the tribunal will apply the civil standard of proof. This means that the tribunal must decide whether, on the balance of probabilities, the GMC is able to prove that it is more likely than not that the matters occurred as alleged. The burden of proof rests on the General Medical Council, and it is for the General Medical Council to prove the case that it is presenting against the doctor. There is no burden of proof, but burden on the doctor to prove or disprove anything. Interesting that. That's interesting, because I was called as a victim to give evidence, but he is also, yeah, like, so with the victim, but then the perpetrator doesn't. Huh? In reaching the will apply the civil standard of proof. The burden of proof rests with the General Medical Council and is not for the it's not for the individual to prove. It's for them to prove that he's guilty. Right. There's no burden on the doctor to prove or disprove anything. Being the accused, the tribunal, it's like, yeah. The tribunal would approach facts finding by firstly identifying agreed facts and evidence to reach a decision on the disputed facts. The tribunal would assess the evidence in the round. It will consider what conclusion and inference can be drawn from the documentary evidence. The tribunal will then consider the available oral evidence and subject that evidence to critical scrutiny against the agreed facts and documented evidence to consider a witness' reliability and credibility. So again, the witness has got to prove that solely rests on the General Medical Council. The tribunal should not decide reliability and credibility based on the demeanor of a witness alone. Right. The test for dishonesty is set out in the case of Ivory v. Genting Casino, UK Limited, Croxford, UK SC 67, 25th of October 2017. When dishonesty is in question, the fact-finding tribunal must first ascertain subjectively the actual state of the individual's knowledge or belief as to the facts. The reliableness or otherwise of his belief is a matter of evidence, often in practice determinative, going to whether he held the belief, but it is not an additional requirement that his belief must be reasonable. The question is whether it is genuinely held. When once his actual state of mind as to knowledge or belief as to fact is established, the question whether his conduct was honest or dishonest is to be determined by the fact finding by applying the subject standard of ordinary decent people. There is no requirement that the defendant must appreciate that what has been done is, by those standards, dishonest. Right, the tribunal's analysis of evidence and finding. The tribunal has considered each outstanding paragraph of the allegation separately and has evaluated the evidence in relation to each to making its findings on the facts. The tribunal reminds itself that Doctor had admitted the factual matter of the case, namely that he answered no to both questions on the form, but was aware of having been subject to 2 investigations by the General Medical Council in 2014. Right. So it wasn't the fact that there was an allegation made in 2014 and nothing was done about it. It's no, he had 2 allegations, 2 investigations during 2019 with the General Medical Council, and he said no. It was 8 years ago. You didn't leave the profession and come back, or like I'm not hearing of like of evidence. Like how could you forget about being investigated? Alright, investigating concerns raised about the practice that Nuffield had restricted his practice from December 2024. The doctor has also accepted in his oral evidence that his answers were inaccurate, although he did not accept that the 2019 investigation needed to be disclosed. He had stated that he believed the form was only inquiring about recent issues. I bet it didn't say in the last 4 years. I bet it didn't say, you know, anything after 6 years is spent So, can you tell us any investigations you've had in the last 5 years? Uh, where, yeah. Oh, I suddenly had knowledge I didn't have knowledge of. I can't find where I was told that, but I certainly was thinking it. Alright, the doctor admitted to having been aware of all those investigations, but his case was that, in relation to 2019 investigation, those did not require disclosure as they were historic. He believed the question only referred to recent events in relation to 2024 Nuffield investigation. So he's like, I thought he was talking about 2024. He said that he had known the investigation would be disclosed as part of the change of RO, but that he had wanted to discuss the issue with Dr. I before that happened. In relation to 2019 investigation, the tribunal considered the wording of the question on the form set out in paragraph. This is his counter argument to the accusation, how he understood English language. The doctor case was that if the question was seeking disclosure of historical investigations, oh, okay. So in order for you to ask me that, it would include the word ever or something similar. Oh, ha, ha. It did not say ever. Wait. So when it says, have you been investigated by the General Medical Council ever? You would have put yeah, because it was prehistoric, you know. If it was in the back of his mind, it would include the word ever or something similar. He could not, however, give any cognate explanation as to why the word recent should be implied in the wording of the question. So the point that he made, that what my understanding was that it was recent, he wasn't able to articulate from the sentence. Like, so where did you infer that it was it meant recent, not like prehistoric, you know, Jurassic claims. Alright, so Mr. had submitted that the form should be read in context of the rest of the related form, which were requesting information about events in previous 5 years. The tribunal rejected this submission as it found there was no reason for a person to read any indication of recency into the question, and that an attempt to define what recent meant was therefore pointless. Additionally, the tribunal noted that the doctor had not given any evidence in relation to other forms, or if they fed into his decision. When answering no, in particular, the doctor, when asked what he meant by recent, said he thought it referred to events in the last year. In the last year. The tribunal, so yeah, this is the back and forth that they've been having. The tribunal considered that doctor's position that he was not required to disclose 2019 investigation was so unreasonable in the circumstances that the tribunal was led to conclude that he did not hold that genuine view. Doctor actually stated of knowledge was that he knew that he was required to disclose the 2019 issues. He knew that the answer no was inaccurate and that he was aware of his responsibilities under the good medical practice. Good medical practice. The tribunal considered that an ordinary member of the public would not consider a doctor's explanation to be reasonable. The doctor had knowingly provided inaccurate information and had sought to gain some advantage by doing so. Other member of the public would consider this to be dishonest. Not even medical professional. They go by the general public. Oh no, wait, I've gone back. Let me get back into this because this is juicy. Oh, this is so good. Liar, pants on fire. It goes on. Let me. Well, yeah. Considered that the tribunal therefore found paragraph 3A of the allegation proved in relation to paragraph 2A and B. 2B. The tribunal then went on to consider the 2024 investigation by Nuffield Health. Doctor knew about the investigation, which was ongoing at the time he completed the form. Wow. He answered in evidence that the answer no was inaccurate and that he should have answered yes. He described his failure to do so as an honest mistake. Dr. Case was that he had always intended to discuss the investigation with his new RO, Dr. A, but that events moved too quickly. He answered no, because he felt the issue was not straightforward, that he felt there was an element of personal vendetta in the complaint. Racism. He thought they were being racist and wanted an opportunity to explain this. The doctor stated he knew that the Dr. I would be informed of the investigation in any event as part of the handover from his previous RO, and that he had contacted people in HR, human resources, and administration to inform them of his desire to speak with Dr. I, although Dr. gave evidence that he had made that request to speak to Dr. I. No documentary evidence was provided to substantiate that claim, nor did Doctor give evidence about what further efforts he made to contact Dr. I. Are we starting to see a pattern here? Are we being taken for a ride? So the doctor knew, as of the 2019 December. Oh no, it's the 2024 December that a fact-finding exercise was being carried out in relation to concerns about his practice. Doctor had acknowledged receipt of this letter and arranged to have a face-to-face meeting to discuss concerns on January 2025. The tribunal understood the desire the doctor had to give context to an investigation that he felt was unfair, at least in part. However, by answering no on the form, he withheld information that there could be context for. There were alter, alternate, there were alternative, more accurate options available to the doctor. He could have left the answer blank. He could have answered yes, but included a note of brief explanation for which there was room on the form to do so. Or he could have answered yes, but indicated a desire to explain further at an earlier opportunity. The tribunal considered it was not necessary for it to make any findings in relation to whether the doctor held a genuine belief that the Nuffield complaint was made because of a personal vendetta against him on the part of a colleague. Dr. D, as he had claimed in his oral evidence of note, Doctor had accepted that some of the concerns had merit and that several of the concerns originated from nursing staff. Not Dr. D, regardless of whether he held the genuine belief or not, the question the tribunal had to concern itself with is whether an ordinary person would consider that explanation reasonable and sufficient assure them that his answer no was honest. No. He thought he could lie. To not like to the people you want to be the body of your situation. But no, I'm telling the truth, and I think they've got a personal vendetta. So yeah, we've got nurses involved, a patient. I think there was talks of a patient evidence, or was that, I don't know. Yeah, the tribunal therefore found paragraph 3 of the allegation proved in relation to paragraph 2c. The tribunal determined that paragraph 3 of the allegation was therefore proved in its entirety. Then went on to consider paragraph 3b of the allegation. Alright, the tribunal considered that that doctor was aware at the time of completing the form that his practice at Nuffield was subject to restrictions, and that the question on the form was asking about current restrictions of practice. So, you know what you're not allowed to do. You messed up in the past, and now you're not where you want to be. Having that power, having that trust being put into you. The tribunal considered that the doctor's explanation about why he did not declare the restrictions on his practice, which was the same as his explanation in relation to not declaring the Nuffield investigation, was illogical. It considered that providing context to Dr. I would in no way mitigate the fact that there were restrictions in place on his practice which Omnes needed to know about immediately. Wait. So he said, "Oh, but I was gonna tell you. I was." You put no. I was gonna, yeah, but as soon as I see, okay, as soon as I see him, I would have told him. Okay, can you show us document? I haven't got it. This is a doctor. With his hand in the cookie jar. And now he's lying about it. And he only got 6 months. What was the allegation? 6 months, like, that's crazy. Right, the tribunal's overall determination on the facts. Determining the following of the facts. Right, that was being registered under the Medical Act 1983 as amended. Alright, on January 29th January 2025, you submitted a new starter form. The form, the Omnes Healthcare Limited, the form you answered no to the question. So this is back to your lie. You lied on this form when you submitted, and when we looked into it, it's like, yeah, you got restrictions, yeah, you messed up, and you should be telling us about it because we need to know about it immediately. All right, are you currently subject to any restrictions? Admitted and found proved. So yeah, so A and B, admitted, found, proved. All right, at the time that you submitted the form, you knew. So the second part of it, so at the time that you submitted it, you knew that you were lying. So it's like the fact that you were lying, then there's the fact that you knew you were lying. After the fact that you know that you had committed these things back in 2019, and that we had to put things in place so that you weren't being a monster. At the time you submitted the form, you knew you were issued with a warning by the medical practitioners tribunal following a fitness to practice investigation carried out by the General Medical Practice Council. Admitted and found proved. On the 1st of April 2019, you were notified by the General Medical Council that an investigation had been opened into your fitness of practice. Admitted, found, and proved. On 19th December 2024, you were notified by the Nuffield that you were subject to a fact-finding exercise. Admitted, found, proved. And on 19th December 2024, your practice at Nuffield was restricted. Admitted, found, proved. Your conduct was dishonest. Determined, found, proved. Your reasons. Paragraph 1B. So paragraph 1A was dishonest by reason of paragraph 2A and C. Determined, found, proved. Paragraph 1B was dishonest by reason of paragraph 2D. Determined and found, proved. So a proven liar that continues to lie to you during the investigation how does he keep his title? Like, make him a nurse. The evidence. The tribunal was reviewed its findings of facts and in addition received further evidence for the following witness of Dr. as behalf. Dr. E clinical led at the current employer via video link and then current RO. It was called to give evidence. The tribunal also received in support of the doctor's number of testimonies from colleagues and employees, all of which it has read. In addition, the tribunal also received further documents, most particularly an appraisal report for the doctor dated February 2026. So, just going over the facts, when did he submit that form? When did he submit that form? Right. Whose statements was dated Dr. Rowe? And you got other people's statements dated the 9th of July 2025. Witness statement. His own witness statement dated the 7th of May. 7th of May. What year? 2025, yeah? 7th of May 2026 is when he gave and also gave oral evidence at the hearing. So yeah, he was called as a witness, even though it's stated in here that he doesn't have to prove or disprove, but he gave oral evidence on the day. So the investigation related, so in relation to the 2024 Nuffield investigation, so it just says 2024. When was it conducted? What month? You know, chronological order. Where is it? Since you guys like it so much. 19th of December, a fact-finding exercise was carried out in relation to concerns about the practice. Receipt of the letter to discuss, and arrange a face-to-face in January. So, so he knew of the fact-finding investigation in December 2025, and then so he's going into Christmas. Yeah, we're doing this fact-finding investigation on you. Next month, face-to-face appointment to raise your concerns, and it wasn't until July he went to court. They make it up as they go along. Which was dated. Statements was dated the 12th. Witnesses. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna see if there's anything. This is the 4th. Dates the 4th until the 11th. Suspended 6 months. Immediate order imposed. Hearing end date. So yeah, that was the date. So he's back at Christmas. He's back at he'll be back for Christmas. Should we have a look at Camel? Sunderland, impaired erasure, misconduct. So again, it's just the same week. I think the 4th of June 2026. Area practice, Sunderland. Dr. Alidin Carmel. Alidin Carmel. Right, university. Oh, is university primary medical qualification M of MB BCH 2006 Kano. Right, facts related to impairment found, proved, impaired, new, misconduct, erase, immediate, order imposed. He's gone. He's gone. They got rid of him. In accordance with Rule 41 of the General Medical Council Fitness of Practice, the hearing was held in private. Whoa. Whoa. Protect the public. Throughout the decision-making process, the tribunal has bore in mind the statutory duty as set out in Section 1 of the Medical Act of 1983, the 1983 Act, to protect the public. The tribunal has considered the relevant and impact on each of the three distinct parts of the public protection to protect, promote, maintain health, safety and well-being of the public, to promote and maintain public confidence in the medical profession, and to promote and maintain proper professional standards and conduct for members of that profession. Okay, determination on the facts. On the outset of this hearing, the tribunal announced that the entirety of the hearing should be heard in private in accordance with Rule 41 of the General Medical Council GMC practices. As amended, the rules this determined they will be handed down in private. But as this concerns Dr. Camel's alleged misconduct, a redacted version will be published will be published at the closing of the hearing. So at the time they withheld that information until it had been done with. That's again what I think they're doing with mine. Because why can't I find it on your website? Like, I submitted it. Like, where is it? Unless you're hiding it from the public. King's orders. Right, on the outset, yada yada. Background. Dr. Kamel qualified in the university prior to the events which are the subject of the hearing, worked as locum consultant radiologist at the South Tyneside and Sunderland NHS Foundation Trust, June 2003 to May 2024. The allegations that have led to the doctor's hearing relating to the misconduct, to his conduct, XXX. What do you mean XXX? It is alleged by the GMC that on around the 9th of December 2023, it is normally around the 9th of December, isn't it? Normally around then, it was dishonest in an XXX form. The form submitted to the University Hospitals Bristol and Western Foundation Trust, where he was due to begin as a consulate radiologist in 2024 as part of the onboarding process. In that form, answered no to the question XXX. Worked with the public the public are not allowed to know what he did. They said misconduct in the last one. I mean, what else are they going to be talking about? But no, we can't even say. Look. Section 5 is XXX and section 6 is XXX. Are they hiring rapists? Are they hiring molesters? Because what do you mean the public can't know his allegations? And he was being dishonest. What was he being dishonest about? What is the point of even submitting this paperwork? I was like, oh yeah, we had a hearing and this hearing did happen. Just can't talk about it. Right. It is further alleged that the doctor sent fabricated reports that he had created to the General Medical Council to be used as an interim orders tribunal. Wow. Hearing and a medical practitioner's tribunal hearing, and in doing so, breached a condition imposed on his registration by an IOT. It is alleged that doctor's actions were dishonest. Well, yeah, fabricating information on your procedures in terms of to deal with the public safety and so on. I don't know. Like I'm just guessing because there's something about an interim that can be discussed with the tribunal if you feel as though the safety of the public are concerned. Right, the initial concern was raised to the General Medical Council May 2024 by the doctor's former responsible officer at the trust. Alright, Dr. D, Mr. Campbell, was excluded from work at the trust on the 3rd of May 2024 until the end of his contract on the 16th of May 2024. So, end of his contract. He had like what, a 13-day contract? May till May 16th. Oh no, the 3rd of May. Yeah. And was advised that he must not undertake any employment as a doctor. Oh wow. Oh wow. He was disbarred. Like, the outcome of the application made during the fact stage, the tribunal granted General Medical Council's application made pursuant to Rule 41 of the General Medical Practice 2024 as amended the rules for the entirety of the proceeding to be held in private as the matter to be considered were XXX. This application was not opposed by Dr. Camel. That's even his name. The allegation and the doctor's response. The allegation made is as followed. On the 9th of December 2023, you submitted an XXX form for University Hospital Bristol and West Foundation. So was that a BRI? Where, in response to a question in confidence, you answered no, submitted and found proved by virtue of the information set out in confidential schedule to you knew that to be determined. XXX. You knew that what? I don't know. What, something about he's supposed to have known. Your actions as set off in paragraph 1 was dishonest, to be determined. So these things to be determined, due to be determined, but when you answered no, it's admitted and was founded. The fabrication report purporting to be form XXX for Dr. A dated the dates of all these forms. Alright, you sent fabricated reports referred to in paragraph 4 to the GMC on the following dates to be used at your next interim order tribunal hearing. In that, on the 2nd of November, you sent the report detail in paragraph, sent fabricated reports referring to paragraph 4 to the General Medical Council on the following dates to be used at your medical practitioner tribunal hearing. In that, on 7th of October, you sent a report detailed at paragraph 4C. 8th of October, you sent a report detailed paragraph 4A, 4C. When asked about the report by the General Medical Council, you replied by email on the 14th of December indicating words to the effect that Dr. A had provided you with 2 short follow-ups reports, namely the report dated 11th of April 2024, 24th of October 2024, reports number 1 to 3 in the list, and both are provided in English, admitted and proved. 14th of June 2024, you were subject to IoT conditions, admitted and proved. You breached the IoT conditions XXX by providing fabricated reports for use at your IoT hearing. Wow. You try to fake it to make it. Where you submitted the report, details fabricated, yeah. You knew Dr. A had not provided the reports referred to in paragraph 4. Your actions set out in paragraph 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 were dishonest by reasons of paragraph 10. Admitted and proved. You were provided the reports referred to in paragraph 4. And that by reason of the matter set out above, your fitness to practice is impaired because of your A and B. This misconduct in relation to paragraphs 1 through 11 to be determined, and then the triple X, which would be the admitted facts. On the outset of these proceedings, the doctor made admission to some paragraphs and some paragraphs of the allegation as set out above in accordance with Rule 17 of the rules, in accordance with Rule 17(2)(e) of the rules. The tribunal announced these paragraphs and subsections of the allegations as admitted and proved found. What allegations? It's raining. Is it raining? It's raining. It's raining. It's raining. All right, I'm gonna end this stream shortly. Right. So yeah, he was being dishonest. He answered no. Right. In light of the responsive allegations made against him in the tribunal, required to determine whether he knew at the time he submitted the form to UHBW that the triple X, and that whether by virtue of the information answered no on the form was dishonest. So yeah, witness evidence. The tribunal received evidence on behalf of the General Medical Council in the form of witness statements from the following witnesses who were not called to give or provided his own written submission. The tribunal also received evidence from 3 expert witnesses called by the General Medical Council. More triple X's, more in reaching its decision on the facts, the tribunal will apply the civil standard of proof proof rests with the General Medical Council to prove the case. Presenting itself against the doctor, there's no burden of proof on the doctor to prove or disprove anything, unless you ask him to. Then he might do it. Tribunal considered that the expert witness had said during his oral evidence that it would not be unusual for Triple X, which was a position which was a position, also agreed with the opinion of both expert witnesses was that whilst it was difficult to answer, they could not say definitively, but that this was a possibility. The tribunal considered the evidence at the time that there was evidence that the tribunal considered that this would align with his stated subjective view that XXX and that the misunderstanding would come to light. In reaching its decision, the tribunal also considered that the Dr. Camel made admissions to all aspects of the allegation, including other instances of dishonesty. It was of the opinion that he accepted these matters, which added to his credibility in respect of paragraph 2, 3 of the allegations. The tribunal considered that, on the balance of probability, it was credible that the Dr. Camel did not recognize that XXX and, when completing the form, stated what he genuinely believed at the time, regardless of the objective truth which he now accepts. Huh? Accordingly, the tribunal found this paragraph of the allegation not proved. Right. Having determined the paragraph 2 of the allegation was not proved, the tribunal necessarily found that the doctor's actions as set out in paragraph 1 was, and found proof could not have been dishonest by reason of paragraph 2. Accordingly, the tribunal found this paragraph of the allegation not proven. Tribunal overarching determined that the facts as follows. On the 9th of December 2024, you submitted a form for the University Hospital Bristol and Western Foundation Trust, where in response to the question in confidential sequence, answering no admitted found proved. By virtue of the information set out in Confidence Schedule 2, you knew that not proved. Your actions set out were dishonest. Not proved. Your actions as set out in paragraph 1 were dishonest by reason of paragraph 2. It was not proved. Your fabricated reports purporting to be from XXX by dot a dated, admitted, and proved. So you sent the fabricated reports referred to in paragraph 4 to the following of the following dates. To the General Medical Council on the following dates, to be used at your next interim orders tribunal hearing. In that, on the 2nd of November 2024, you sent the report detailed out of paragraph 4A. Made approved. Right, you sent the fabricated reports to reports referred to in paragraph 4 to the JMC on the following dates to be used as your medical practitioner tribunal hearing. In that, on the 7th of October, you sent the report detailed as paragraph. When asked about reports by the General Medical Council, your reply by email indicated words to the effect that the doctor had provided you with 2 short follow-ups reports, namely the report dated 11th of April 2024 and 24th October 2024, reports numbers 1 through 3 in the list. Both are provided in English, admitted and proved. On the 40th of June 2024, you were made subject to IoT conditions. You breached the IoT conditions by XXX by providing fabricated reports for use. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Did they believe them? He was under an order, the IoT. He had to go and see meetings for the IoT hearings and what have you. He submitted fabricated reports to the university on a form. They don't want you to know what the form was. So I'm about to tell you, the 28th of November 2024, where you submitted the report detailed, paragraph 4, admitted, found proved. 13th of May 2025, you submitted the report detailed, admitted, found improved. 4th of November, was he let back because of the findings detailed in those reports? Because why would you even be having these conversations? Like, this is shady. And the fact that they're talking about this, like, it's all there. Like, we can't talk about it, but we can infer. People can, make their own judgments. Dr. A had not provided those reports referred to in paragraph 4. Your actions as set out in paragraph 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 were dishonest by reason of paragraph 10. Dishonest? Legal? And that by reason of the matter set out above, your fitness to practice is impaired because of your misconduct in relation to paragraph 1 through to 11. Impairment, yeah, determination on impairment. The 10th of June 2026, in the onset of this hearing, the tribunal announced that the entirety of the hearing should be heard in private in accordance with the Rule 41 of the General Medical Practice Fitness to Practice Rules 2024 as amended. The rules, the determination will be handed down in private as this case concerns Dr. Campbell's alleged misconduct. Oh, so since we're talking about his misconduct, we cannot tell you. A redacted version will be published at the closing of the hearing. Tribunal has reviewed its findings of facts and evidence provided by both parties. Facts provided by both parties at the fact stage of these proceedings. Submission on behalf of the General Medical Council. So yeah, Miss Dudley Jones, counsel, submitted that. Oh, right. She was like this lady is the one that's like, I'm the name attached to his dismissal. Right, so yeah, Mrs. Jones submitted that, given what had occurred in this case, the tribunal should find that Dr. Campbell's actions amounted to misconduct, which was serious. She submitted that Dr. Campbell had admitted fabricating 4 different reports purporting to be from Mr. A, breaching an interim order tribunal conditions by providing fabricated reports for use of his IoT hearings on 3 separate occasions and sending the fabricated reports to the GMC to be used at his next interim orders tribunal hearing on 3 different dates spanning, like, how were these not checked? Like, between 2024 and 2020, October 2025. I got AI to fabricate it. You know, I can't believe this. Right, she submitted that hearings on three different dates spanning especially a year between November 2024 to October 2025. She submitted that Dr. Camel also admitted sending the fabricated reports to the General Medical Council to be used as his medical practitioners tribunal hearing on two separate occasions, and admitted that when he was asked about the reports by the General Medical Council, he replied in an email identifying that Dr. A had written the reports which he himself had fabricated. Miss Jones submitted that Dr. Camel is a senior doctor who has admitted his dishonesty was persistent and repeated behavior occurring over a nearly 12-month period, which involved fabricating reports about whatever at the time when he was subject to regulatory restrictions by his professional regulator. She submitted that he sent those fabricated reports to his own professional regulator, the GMC, for his own benefit. His actions demonstrated a number of clear and serious breaches of good medical practice and amounted to misconduct which was serious. So Miss Jones submitted that the matter, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones submitted that the matters before the tribunal are at the higher end of seriousness, as they were related to Dr. Campbell's practice, were persistent and repeated, and were premeditated with considerable thought and preparation. She submitted that his actions had the intention to benefit himself, which undermined the very integrity of the system designed to protect the public. Of course, we know that's at this point, but it needs to be said, doesn't it? It needs to be said. The audacity. This guy, like, camel. He's gonna be milking a camel, like. Right, as stated, the misconduct. Right. Miss Jones submitted that although Dr. Campbell has stated the misconduct committed was due to a number of matters relating to his personal and professional circumstances, that misconduct took place over a 12-month period. Over a 12-month period when he was working as a doctor. Wait, whoa. And that's what I'm saying. The fabricatedness had that allowed him authority. Like, things have changed now. We changed our mind because we can do that. Like, we make things private, we make things public, we do these things. So read that statement again. So Miss Jones submitted that this is one of those cases. No, wait, I don't know. Although Mrs. Jones submitted that, although Dr. Campbell stated the misconduct committed was due to a number of matters relating to his personal and professional circumstances, that misconduct took place over a 12-month period when he was working as a doctor and Triple X. Huh? So he's on an interim order and he's working as a doctor because he fabricated reports that you allowed him to fabricate. You didn't check the report. You're like, oh yeah, that's his name, that's his signature. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go on and go and do those things. Like, she submitted that these actions seriously undermined public confidence in the profession, have plainly brought the profession into disrepute, and breached one of the fundamental tenets of the profession. Tenets of the profession. How? How is he so smart? So clever? To get out of your view, like, oh yeah, he did this one time, and we're gonna make sure that he doesn't do that again. Oh, and he does it again. Oh, this time we need to really get rid of him. Like, right, submitted that this is one of those cases where the Dr. Campbell misconduct is so serious and consists of violating such fundamental rules of the profession that a finding of impairment of fitness to practice is justified on the grounds that it is necessary to reaffirm clear standards of the professional conduct so as to maintain public confidence in the profession, and that the need to uphold proper professional standards and public confidence in the profession would be undermined if a finding of impairment were not made in the particular circumstances. Mrs. Jones submitted that these matters of serious misconduct are in principle remediable, the label, remediable. Yeah. So Miss Jones submitted that those matters of serious misconduct are in principle remediable, but that there is limited evidence produced of any any remedication from Dr. Campbell. Therefore, she questioned whether the whether the tribunal in the future. Wait, what? Therefore, she questioned whether the tribunal could be satisfied if it will not be repeated where Dr. Campbell to find himself in a similar situation in the future. She submitted that a finding of impairment will be required to uphold standards, maintain public confidence, even if there are some evidence or ramifications or low risk of repetition. In respects of the Triple X, Dr. Jones submitted that no, not Dr. Jones. Mrs. Jones submitted that Dr. Campbell's fitness to practice is plainly impaired as at today, and confirmed by both expert witnesses that she submitted his lack of insight and potential future lack of engagement raised the potential seriousness. So Miss Jones submitted that Triple X, and that was the end of the sentence. Mrs. Jones submitted that although Dr. Campbell is currently engaging Triple X, it appears that he still has very little or certainly very limited insight, Triple X. He could therefore disengage Triple X. She submitted that this limited insight exacerbates the risk to the public. Yeah, limited insight. Yeah, like we're just hiding it all, you know. It's that serious. You can't know about it unless victim comes forward, new story comes forward. I'm gonna make a series out of this. We're gonna look at doctors' hearings. Every one of them with a funny name and a non-funny name. We're going to read more of these. Alright, the submission on the behalf of Dr. Campbell. Alright, Dr. Campbell submitted that his current fitness to practice should be assessed on the basis of his present circumstances. Triple X, insight, and the risk of repetition rather than solely on the events that led to these proceedings. You submitted 3 reports over a 12-month period, and you submitted that if Dr. Campbell submitted that his current fitness to practice should be assessed on the basis of his present circumstances. He's a Muslim. Yeah, he's black. Triple X, whatever Triple X is, his insight, so his education, and the risk of repetition rather than solely on the events that led to these proceedings. Well, there's evidence of repetition in these proceedings, so how can you say that the risk, like the risk of repetition rather than, what was it, like a blue moon? Was it, wouldn't happen again, Sarge? Like, you lied on your reports. Dr. Campbell submitted that at the hearing of his dishonest conduct, he had little experience about the UK and the system and needed to solve 2 issues, namely Triple X and the conditions imposed by. Oh wow! He needed to solve it, did he? 2 issues. Yeah, he submitted that. Triple X, Dr. A, but that he could not help him. Yeah, of course Dr. A couldn't help him because you're a freak. Like, what are you chatting about? You're radicalized. you made that tweet about Jews or about how you don't like white people or who knows what, and you lying on your reports. Alright, with the wait, so what is this? Alright. He submitted that Triple X, Dr. A, but that he could not help him with the GMC IoT issues, and that he thought it was just an administrative issue to submit the required reports. He submitted this was a period of poor and inappropriate judgment, but that he tried his best to solve the issues, and that maybe there was a better option to, for example, tell the GMC that he could not provide the documents. He submitted that he was not sure what the General Medical Council would actually do and what the reaction would be at that point. And so the lack of experience and the lack of information led to this action, which he deeply regrets. While I blow a bubble from my lips. Like, Dr. Hamill submitted that he has developed clear safeguards to ensure that nothing similar could occur again. Oh yeah, I'm on top of it. I've got people watching what I do. It will never happen again. My AI servant will comply. Where are we at? He submitted. Wait. Safeguards. So Dr. Campbell submitted that he has developed clear safeguards to ensure that nothing similar could occur again, and if he was required triple X evidence in the future, he would only obtain it from the relevant triple X or institution. He submitted that if he faced professional or regulatory difficulties, he would seek appropriate legal, professional, and triple X advice rather than attempting to deal with matters alone. Right. So yeah, he didn't have any assistance. I did it all alone. It was just me and my mistakes. Dr. Cowell submitted that at the time of him submitting the fabricated reports, he was under significant personal and family pressures and exercised very poor judgment. The cost of living crisis is the open borders crisis. He submitted that his focus since then has been to understand the seriousness of his actions, triple X, and ensure that nothing similar can happen again. Do we believe him, chat? Do we? No, we don't. I'm not a medical professional. It's just the civil servant test. Just ask a general member of the public. Was it like? Do we believe that it wouldn't nothing similar can happen again? Of course it can, because it happened. This guy hasn't even got a comprehension of English. Right, Dr. Camel submitted that. Oh, I don't at times. I submit that he was triple X continued to practice medicine. Wow, he had it. He submitted. He had something, so he can continue medicine. Importantly, he submitted there have been no concerns regarding patient safety. Wow. None whatsoever. No concerns. No complaints about his clinical practice. No incidents of patient harm. He submitted that his current clinical work provides objective evidence of his XXX professional capability and that he was not asking the tribunal to speculate about his ability to practice safely, as he was already doing so. So the Camel submitted that a significant period of time has passed since the event in question, and that during the time he's continued to work. But I've been working, look at me. I've been working for the public, and guess what? There's been no complaints. There's no history. So the Triple X reflects on his conduct and demonstrate. Triple X reflects on his conduct and demonstrated reasonable professional behavior. Dr. Gamble submitted that he cannot be changed. He cannot change what happened in the past, but can demonstrate that he has learned from it, taking meaningful steps to address it and significantly reduce the risk of repetition. Submitted that in terms of ramification. Ramification. He has stated to concentrate on his own career and reputation, and that his personal issues have almost resolved. He submitted that his current clinical performance provides objective evidence of XXX unfitness to practice, and he does attend medical courses. His most recent, the European Congress of Radiology in March 2025. Go on Europe. Doctor submitted that. XXX. He submitted that. For those reasons, the evidence supports the finding that he's capable of practice safely and that the risk of similar conduct occurring again is very low. He submitted that. This is a very specific situation which he does not believe he will happen to him again, and now has the experience to deal with it. But you lied. Now you got the experience of dealing with it, and right, the relevant legal principles. Let's just get to it. Right, there is no burden of standard of proof at the stage of the proceeding. Decision of paramount in this matter. The tribunal does well learn. Tribunal will only make finding of impairment where there's legal basis to do so and where a decision is reached. The doctor proposed the current and ongoing rescue one-on-one. The three parts of public protection, which is likely to restrict and require restrict actions in response. The three parts of public protection are to protect, promote, and maintain the health and safety and well-being of the public, to promote and maintain public confidence in the profession, and to promote and maintain proper professional standards and conduct for members of the profession. Alright, in approaching the decision, the tribunal was mindful to the two-stage process to be adopted in respect of misconduct. First, whether the facts as found proved amounted to the misconduct and the misconduct was serious, and that the misconduct was serious. And then whether the finding of misconduct, which was serious, posed the current and ongoing risk to public protection, requiring restrictive action in response, and therefore could lead to a finding of impairment. To assess whether Dr. Camel poses any current and ongoing risk to public protection which may require restrictive action in response, the tribunal will consider where the spectrum of seriousness the allegation lies based on the facts found prove the impact of any relevant contact known by Dr. Camel and or their working environment and how Dr. Camel has responded to the allegations. As the allegations fall under more than one ground of impairment, wow, more than one grounds. An assessment of current and ongoing risk to public protection must be made in respect of each of them. If I remember correctly, if this is the same one, I'm probably thinking of the last one. Yeah, I think it was the last one, so I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I think it's from the last one. Let's just try and wrap this up. Oh, and then, oh wow, I'm glad I found these. Right, yeah, so no, well, yeah, to assess whether posed any current risk, ongoing risk to the public, yeah, has responded to allegations as allegations brought under, the case of PSA versus GMC. Admin sets out that if misconduct is established, the tribunal must consider as a separate and discrete exercise whether the practitioner's fitness to practice has been impaired. However, the case of the PSA, the HCPC 2014 sets out that it will be an unusual case where dishonesty is found to impair fitness to practice. The LQC reminded the tribunal that whilst there is no statutory definition of impairment, the tribunal is assisted by the guidance provided by Dame Janet Smith in the report as adopted by the High Court. The tribunal noted that any of the following features are likely to be present when a doctor's fitness to practice is found to be impaired. Has in the past acted or is liable in the future to act so as to put a patient or patients at an unwanted risk of harm and or has in the past or is liable in the future to bring the medical professional into disrepute and or has in the past breached and or is liable in the future to breach one of the following fundamental tenets of the medical professions and or has in the past acted dishonestly and or is liable to act dishonestly in the future. That's what they look for. Alright. Determination on impairment, misconduct. Is there any other form of impairment? Oh, he died. He no longer with us. That's like the only other impairment. We cannot do this tribunal because he's dead. Alright. Is there any legal basis for considering impairment? Right. That's the question. Two parts to the question, I think. The tribunal first considers whether the facts admitted amounts to misconduct. In doing so, it regards to the admitted dishonest conduct whereby Dr. Camel fabricated 4 different reports reporting to be from Dr. Ray, provided these false documents to the General Medical Council for his IoT hearings and MPT hearings, and when asked about the report by the GMC, maintained that dishonesty and stated that Dr. A had written the reports. How did he get away with it? 3 separate reports, 3 different hearings. Where's the well, we're gonna have to look back to see if the original is in here. But yeah, a lot of information is being withheld from the public, even though this man had faked reports which allowed him to work as a doctor. Like, yeah, like putting the profession in disrepute. Like, yeah, that's why you gotta put it private. Don't want no repeats. What form was he falsifying? You know, this is clearly all to do with bad behavior. Right, here we go. The tribunal considered that Dr. Camel's actions amounted to a pattern of repeated and sustained dishonesty in an attempt to deceive his regulators for his own benefit. There were a number of opportunities to tell the truth, but he failed. To take advantage, and he sought to continue in his efforts to maintain his dishonesty. The tribunal notes that doctor should be engaging with his regulator and that there would be an expectation from both patients and the public for a candid engagement rather than attempts to frustrate matters. The tribunal accepts the GMC submission that this behavior in its entirety undermines a system put in place to protect patients and the public. You allowed him to abuse the system that saves, that prevents people from being abused. You let that happen on 3 occasions. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And you're now talking about this ages after the fact. Right, Dr. Cameron submitted that he was unfamiliar with the process here in the UK and was of the opinion that the requirements for him to provide reports to Dr. A were administrative. Requests only that he could not readily... Oh, administrative? Whoa. Are we seeing a pattern of behavior here? Is this part of, you know, a wider concern, like patterns of behavior, like but he's a foreign doctor. He's just not used to how the UK does things. Right, was administrative. Right, yeah. Provide reports from a Dr. A were administrative requests only, and that he could not readily obtain such reports whilst he was living in Finland. So Dr. Camel is a Swede, right? Is this Swede? He therefore fabricated them in order to make the issue go away. Yeah, it was. As he needed to address the IoT conditions for work and families for work and family purposes in terms of XXX, and he continued employment. Within Dr. Camel's reflective statement, he said that confronting his actions was regretful and that he had provided him with an opportunity to reflect. He stated in his oral evidence that he regretted the way that he had responded at the time, recognized that his behavior fell short of the standard expected of a doctor. I mean, he fell the standards of a decent human being, let alone of a doctor. Like, get in the house. The tribunal considered that Dr. Camel failed to act with honesty and integrity, and that his actions were deliberate and breached the fundamental tenet of the profession. There was no suggestion that Dr. Camel was, at the time of that, affected his behavior, and the tribunal noted that he was able to work at the time. Further, his dishonest conduct was persistent over a period of 12 months, despite multiple opportunities to remedy his course of action. Are we starting to see a pattern of behavior here? The tribunal was satisfied that Dr. Camel's actions fell seriously below the standards expected so as to amount to misconduct. Yeah, everything's misconduct. Kill somebody is misconduct. And that his actions were a breach of the following paragraph of the general medical practice. Patients must be able to trust medical professionals with their lives and health. And medical professionals must be able to trust each other. Medical professionals uphold high personal and professional standards of conduct. They are honest and trustworthy, act with integrity, maintain professional boundaries, and do not let their professional interest affect their professional judgment or actions. You must make sure that your conduct justifies patients' trust in you and public's trust in your profession. You must... Wait, why did it go from 81 to 88? Are you... Oh, maybe it is at 88. Yeah, maybe it is at 88. How did you go from 34 to... Huh? I don't get it. I don't get it. Right. You must make sure that your conduct justifies patients' trust in you and the trust and the public's trust in your profession. You must be honest, trustworthy, and maintain patient confidentiality in all your professional, written, verbal, and digital communications. That's good to know. Right, you must make sure any information you communicate as a medical professional is accurate. It's not false or misleading. This means you must take responsible steps to check the information is accurate. You must not deliberately leave out relevant information. You must not minimize or trivialize risk of harm. You must not present options as established fact. Right, to maintain patient safety, you must cooperate with formal inquiries, patient safety investigations, complaint procedures. You must provide all relevant information and be open and honest. So, fire, rehire. Oh, you know, I was able to fabricate these reports for 12 months. Tribunal was of the view that these paragraphs were engaged in case. It determined that Dr. Camel's actions were serious departure from those principles and fell seriously below the standards expected. As Saudi General Medical Council, Tribunal's counsel was satisfied, having found Mr. Camel's actions amounted to misconduct, that there was legal basis for finding of impairment. The tribunal, having found the facts provided amounted to misconduct,
therefore went to consider whether, as a result of that misconduct, fitness of the practice currently impaired by reason of his misconduct. Okay, where on the spectrum of seriousness does the allegation lie? Okay, in considering where the spectrum of seriousness Dr. Camel's actions fell, the tribunal have regard to the guidance, the MPTS Tribunal 2025, the guidance. This sets out the allegations usually fall at a higher end of the spectrum of seriousness include dishonest, other than where it occurred outside of the doctor's professional role and was not persistent or repeated, and the value or other benefits deprived was not significant. The tribunal went on to consider facts which may increase the seriousness of an allegation as set out in the guidance and conclude that the following were applicable. The behavior or poor performance was persistent or repeated, premeditated behavior, a reckless regard for patient safety or professional standard, undermining a system designed to protect the public. I'm sure we're gonna have more. We're gonna have plenty of these. Just you wait. This is only the second one we've read. The tribunal conducted that. The starting point for assessing the risk of public protection was high. Like the starting point for assessing the risk of public protection was high, and application factors further increased where on the spectrum of seriousness the allegation fell. Dr. Camel engaged on a premeditated, sophisticated, persistent course of dishonest conduct for 12 months of his own interests and out of self-preservation, and an attempt to try to make an issue with his regulator, the GMC, go away. The tribunal rejected Dr. Camel's submission that this was not done out of personal gain or benefit, and did not accept that even if he believed this was an administrative matter, at the time that this reduced the seriousness of his misconduct. The behavior undermined a system designed to protect the public and was calculated, culminating in his concert efforts to provide false reports. Wait, I'm going to read that again. The behavior undermined a system designed to protect the public and was calculated, culminating in his concerted efforts to provide false reports. The tribunal found that Dr. Camel actions had the potential to disrupt and frustrate regulatory processes and investigations. Interesting. That's what they're doing to me. Or like maybe, but ICB didn't do an investigation. They followed what was the report from the doctor, but that was like there was none. 4 to 6 weeks, 12 months. 12 months. That was how long his misconduct was going on for. But yeah, like he disrupted the regulatory processes and investigations. Dr. Campbell failed to act honestly and showed a deliberate disregard for professional standards. The tribunal accepted that the starting point identified meant that the allegation falls at a higher end of the spectrum of seriousness and accepted the General Medical Council's submission in applying paragraph 31 of the MPT's guidance. Persistent and repeated dishonesty would likely fall at the higher end of the spectrum. Okay, the tribunal noted that Dr. Campbell's actions were not attributed to the triplet and that he was an experienced doctor who had been practicing for many years. Even if he were unfamiliar with the specifics of the GMP, it was his duty to understand his obligations and to not be repeatedly dishonest, falsified documents in relation to regulatory proceedings. Falsified information to are you smoking crack? Are you plank? False reports for a 12-month period, and now you're dealing with it. What did he do? What was it for? That it touched upon multiple grounds of elements that they would inquire on the seriousness, and now they're talking about that this is the higher levels of on the spectrum of seriousness. What was the impact of the relevant content known their working environment? Right, the tribunal considered that there was no applicable contextual features in relation to Dr. Campbell's misconduct which might lessen the seriousness or risk to the public protection. Right, and then Dr. Campbell's position is that at the relevant time he was experiencing, and that these circumstances profoundly affected his judgment. I don't care what he was experiencing, and decision-making abilities. They even withheld what you were experiencing. What? Your ability to judgment making. Right, written reflection stated. Right, so this is Dr. Campbell's reflection stated in May 18th, 2026. Right, the conduct occurred during an exceptionally difficult period marked by substantial professional pressures and significant difficulties affecting my judgment at the time. Personal pressures and significant difficulties affecting my judgment at the time. You're a freaking doctor. What idiots. Right, the conduct occurred during
I read that. Right, the tribunal, whilst acknowledging that Dr. Campbell was undergoing some personal difficulties and stress at the time, considering that there were no exceptional circumstances, as per the case of Uppal, in this case, which would lessen the seriousness of or justify his actions, the tribunal was clear that honesty is a fundamental principle for any doctor, and was of the view that context did not have any bearing on the seriousness of Dr. Campbell's dishonesty. The tribunal determined that the current and outgoing risks to public protection remained high. Yeah, you're a dirty liar. Like, we take lies seriously. If you can't tell us the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, no, it's that page, isn't it? Alright. Then we don't want to know about it. You're fired. You're fired. Get in the house. Right. Serious, dishonest, premeditated. Alright, so yeah, let's have a look. Alright, the tribunal considered whether Dr. Campbell understood what happened, the consequences of his actions, and accepted that he could have acted differently. The tribunal had regarded to Dr. Campbell's reflection statement in which he had shown remorse for his actions, set out in his understanding of his importance of honesty and accepting and recognition that he should not have lied or acted in the way that he did. Dr. Campbell confirmed in oral evidence that if he was now placed in a similar situation, he would have acted differently. Yeah, right. Just like he wouldn't do it again in the future. Yeah, right. The tribunal considered that serious dishonesty, especially when premeditated and persistent. So, like, he had no intentions of being honest, like, from the offset, and it was granted. Fabricated documents, you didn't fact check it, no. You didn't talk to his supervisor, no. This is a disgrace. The hell, man. Right, especially when premeditated and persistent, it's difficult to remedicate. Remicate. I think that's how it's yeah, but that it is potentially remediable. It considered Dr. Campbell's response to the allegation in terms of insight, revocation, risk of repetition. In doing so, it bore in mind paragraph 74 of the guidance, which states the MPT should consider the evidence available to them to establish if the doctor has shown insight into their own practice, behavior, and or impact of the health condition, taking steps which have reduced the risk of similar allegations occurring again, such as participating in training, supervision, coaching, or mentoring relevant to the accusations, and kept their knowledge and skills up to date. Dr. Campbell has acknowledged that his dishonesty was unacceptable. He stated that he now understands the seriousness, and if he was in a similar understanding, would have acted differently with honesty and integrity, and if he was unable to obtain XX report or the like, he would inform and engage with the General Medical Council rather than falsify documents would take further action, further steps to obtain genuine evidence. In his written reflection in May of 2026, he states, I fully accept that submitting inaccurate documents was wrong and should never have occurred. However, wait, what? However, I respectively ask the tribunal to consider the actual context. What context? It's all private, you idiot. And particular practical circumstances surrounding these events. Surrounding these events. I don't know, were you black? The documents in question were not used to obtain unrestricted registration, unrestricted clinical practice, financial gain, rather than an attempt to secure the removal or reduction of those restrictions. Rather than to attempt to secure the removal of reductions of those restrictions at the time, I was accepting, maybe, like, you put a full paragraph, and these are the idiots that were given doctors. I fully accept that submitting inaccurate documents was wrong and should never have occurred. However, like, I respectfully ask the tribunal to consider the actual context and practical circumstances surrounding these events. Okay, you had the training, you had complaints, you wanted the restrictions to be taken off, you lied. 12 months. So we need the tribunal to like, actually take it into an account. The documents in questions were not used to obtain unrestricted registration. Unrestricted clinical practice, financial gain, or any professional advantage over patients or colleagues. You shouldn't even been. Of course it would have. Just saying that it didn't, like. You're an idiot. They were submitted within the context of my acceptance of the continuation of the existing restrictions rather than attempting to secure the removal or reduction of those restrictions. At the time, I was accepting. Mate, this is a long answer for you did wrong. I understand what I did was wrong, and mate, I would have given a prison sentence just for this paragraph. I was accepting the continuation of restrictions upon my registration. Wait, let me say this again. At the time, at the time, like, because I've already told you this, but let me just tell you again, because there's my side of the story. At the time, I was accepting the continuation of restrictions upon my registration rather than seeking unrestricted return to practice. What, with fabricated information? What? You're a liar. My continued specialist medical practice and my ongoing safe environment, like, you can call it that, mate, but it wasn't that safe because you've got this thing imposed on you. So, I mean, this guy's the devil, man. Like, and my ongoing safe environment within the Finnish healthcare system. Oh, damn, yeah. Look, Europe took me. There's no complaints with Europe. Or demonstrated that I remain capable. XXX. Again. We don't care about your experience, that you passed the test. You know? That you have a period of time you behaved yourself. Good for you. But you done messed up. I do not raise these matters to minimize the seriousness of what occurred, brother, but rather to assist the tribunal in assessing the true nature. Oh, this guy is... He's an idiot. I'm sure he thinks the earth turns clockwise, and that we're in a ball earth. Like, and that gender is a social construct. I bet you he's one of those. I do not raise these matters to minimize the seriousness of what occurred, but rather to assess. Wait, you raise your denial on the facts. Not to minimize, but rather to assist the tribunal in assessing the true nature, context, and proportionality of the conduct in question. I think you're forgetting something. Like, of the bad conduct, or like the nature of the conduct, the true nature of the conduct. Like, well, the true nature of the conduct has been removed from here because it's that bad that they have to withhold the information from the public because he's not the only one. I bet there's more. In his oral submission, stated more clear thinking because that he now has more clear thinking because he does not have any personal pressures or any personal circumstances that he has a plan A and plan B as to what he will do in every circumstances that he will face in near future. He also stated that he did not think there was any risk of repetition as he was in a very specific situation which he does not think will happen to him again. He's holding on to his position. And because his position is opposite to the position of the opponent, that's why he's saying this. He's saying, like, you should have trusted me. Like that's basically what we're getting from this. I got a plan A and a plan B. How the hell are we still talking about this guy? Right, the tribunal considered that whilst Dr. Campbell had been honest throughout the hearing process, I did not seek to attribute his misconduct to Triple X. His insight was limited, and at an early stage, his insight was limited, and at an early stage of development. Wow. And an early stage of development. Ouch. He said, wait, let's go back to it. The tribunal considered that whilst Dr. Campbell had been honest throughout the hearing process, and did not seek to attribute his misconduct to such, his insight was limited and at early stages of development. Tribunal was not satisfied that Dr. Campbell, as an experienced doctor, has reflected on what may have led him to be dishonest. So wait, yeah, the tribunal wasn't even satisfied of the reason of his reflection of what led to the circumstances of him being not dishonest. He's still being dishonest. The true nature and I reckon he's trying to say it's consensual. That's his point of view. You know, she asked, and because I was, and then I don't know. Those circumstances, that like this, that one, that narrow window, and if it happened again, I would not, yeah, no. It smells of rape. Yeah, this smells of rape. Tribunal was not satisfied by Dr. Campbell, as an experienced doctor, has reflected on what may have led to be dishonest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what came over him. He did not feel that Dr. Campbell had adequately explained his actions in terms of what led to make those decisions and the wider impact of those decisions. Yes! Disgusting. The tribunal received limited evidence of insight, such as a more in-depth reflection around the motivations or triggers for his dishonesty, the wider impact, or specifically how he would prevent repetition in the future. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. The tribunal next considered whether the allegations have been remedied. Also received no evidence of relevant continuous professional development, such as courses on probity, ethics, or other actions taken to remedy his misconduct. Wow. They also received no testimonial or references on his behalf to demonstrate that he has put in the practice his learning as a result of those proceedings. Wow. No evidence. No attempts. Falsifying information. Yeah, we could do that. But, oh yeah, and I've got a plan A and I got a plan B. But when you was asked about when you're spoken on the topic, your knowledge was limited in that early stages. But you've been working as a doctor you're very experienced. But he's a dummy. Right. I'm a dummy. It also received no testimonial or references on his behalf to demonstrate that he has put into practice his learning as a result of these proceedings. Dr. Camel gave evidence that he had attended the European Congress of Radiology in March 2025 and has provided no further evidence that he has kept his knowledge and update up to skills up to date. However, the tribunal understood that he has been practicing in Finland. Tribunal was of the view that Dr. Camel has demonstrated limited ramification. Overall, the tribunal considered that the circumstances with the lack of meaningful insult or replication, a risk of repetition, therefore remained high. It acknowledged that that there had been no repetition, but could not be confident that he would not act in a similar way in the future. It noted that he stated that he had plan. He had a plan. It noted that he stated that he had a plan A and plan B, but did not specify what these plans were. And also stated that he did not expect that similar circumstances would occur. Are you a freaking... They happened. So if it happened, there's going to be a repeat. And you're saying that you've got a plan A and a plan B. If you found yourself in those circumstances, well, we can't tell. Alright, what were those plans? Honestly. Given a lack of insight and revocation, the tribunal had no confidence that Dr. Calmore would act in a different way if put in the same or similar situation in the future. The tribunal acknowledged that there was no evidence or suggestion of risk to patients in these proceedings, but the dishonesty was of a sophisticated nature. In consideration of all these factors, the tribunal has determined that the current and ongoing risk to the public remained high. The tribunal's decision as to whether Dr. Camel pose any current or ongoing risk to the public protection, which may require restrictive action in response, and its findings on impairment. The tribunal concluded there was no applicable factors which reduced where on the spectrum of seriousness Dr. Campbell's misconduct fell, or which decreased the risk of public protection. It determined that the second and third limb of the public protection would be undermined where a finding of impairment not made, namely to promote and maintain public confidence in the profession and to mate, it's shot to pieces. And then they got like a load of sections, like there's more where we just can't tell you. He was so the tribunal has therefore determined that Dr. Campbell's fitness to practice is impaired by reason of misconduct. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, and then, determination on sanction. On the 12th of June 2026, so last month. No, because last month was July. 2 months ago. At the hearing, like, we were talking about stuff. Well, we're going to have to go back, but on the outset of the hearing, the tribunal announced that the entirety of the hearing should be heard in private in accordance with Rule 41,
we're gonna have to go and look Rule 41. This determination will be handed down in private, but as this case concerns Dr. Campbell's alleged misconduct, a redacted version will be published at close of the hearing. Wait a minute. At the outset of the hearing, the tribunal announced that the entirety of the hearing should be held in private, in accordance to Rule 41. So, are they applying that rule with me as well? That's what I need to find out. Will the evidence, because also I've already come forward as a victim. Like, it's my choice to be known as a victim and to make my allegation, you know? Where does that fall in the spectrum of seriousness, huh? Right. This determination will be handed down in private, but as this concerns misconduct, redacted version, yada yada, yada, the tribunal has reviewed its findings at the facts and impairment stages, taken into amount evidence received during the early stages of the hearing were relevant to reaching a decision on sanction. On behalf of the General Medical Council, Mrs. Jones submitted that, in light of the tribunal's earlier findings, the appropriate proportionate sanction in the circumstances of this case was that of erasure. Submitted that this was not a case where it would be appropriate to take no action, nor was it appropriate case for conditions. Ms. Jones submitted that the tribunal determined that in respect to Dr. Campbell's misconduct, the current and ongoing risk to the public protection was high, and found that Dr. Campbell's actions were a serious departure from and fell seriously below the principles and standards expected at sets out in good medical practice. She submitted that Dr. Campbell's actions represented the pattern of repeated, persistent and sustained dishonesty and in an attempt to deceive his regulators for his own benefit, undermining a system put in place to protect patients and the public, and breaching a fundamental tenet of the profession. Yeah. How did that happen? Multiple times. Ms. Jones submitted that the tribunal considered that although Dr. Campbell had been honest throughout the hearing process and did not seek to attribute the misconduct to X, his insight was limited at an early stage of development. The tribunal noted that it did not receive evidence such as in-depth reflections around the motives or triggers for Campbell's dishonesty, the wider impact, or how he would avoid repetition in the future, and identified that the risk of repetition remained high. She submitted that the tribunals also found, wait a minute, so the last guy was lying. But you said that was okay. He lied on the form. He got 6 months. He lied. He brought you fabricated evidence. Misconduct. Everything's freaking misconduct. Appropriate conduct. It was found that he was doing appropriate conduct. Submitted whilst engaging with the General Medical Council, fully engaged with the hearing. Both
Triple X stated that his lack of insight and uncertainty around the future engagement raises the risk of X, and that the opinion of both of these expert witnesses was that Dr. Camel is not fit to practice unrestricted. Oh. Okay. Mrs. Jones submitted that the tribunal concluded that the evidence before it demonstrated that if Triple X patient safety could be put at risk, Triple X, she submitted that although there were some positive signs, the tribunal noted that it is impairment. The tribunal noted in its impairment determination that Dr. Camel has only started regular engaging Triple X in the last year, and his acceptance and insights were still at an early stage, identifying that some risk of repetition remained. Mrs. Jones submitted that the level of risk identified when considered in light of the guidance was such that suspension at the least was necessary to stop Dr. Camel from working whilst he gained proper insight into any deficiencies and remedicate. She submitted that whilst Dr. Camel has now developed limited insight, his misconduct remains at the top of the spectrum of seriousness, and that in all circumstances the position of the GMC was that erasure from the medical register was appropriate and proportionate sanction on the behalf of Dr. Camel. Dr. Camel submitted that he fully accepted no he didn't, like, only because he had to, and does not seek to minimize the seriousness of his misconduct. He submitted that he has accepted responsibility for his actions, admitted the allegations, expressed remorse, and acknowledged that they didn't, and that creating, because he was talking about the circumstances of the situation, and that he was trying to put the fact that the court's tribunal were not looking at it in its true nature, that he understood the true nature, and that they did not. So how is that reflection upon, where is it submitted, cases, highest level. He submitted that the features of his case distinguished it from the most. He submitted that the features of his case distinguished it from most serious dishonesty cases, namely that no patient was harmed, placed at risk, or misled. No clinical decision pended upon the documents in question. This was not a case involving patient records, clinical dishonesty towards patients, concealment or clinical errors, fraudulent treatment, financial fraud, or patient safety concerns. Yeah, he raped. If that's what you're saying, he's a monster. But no, that's my thoughts, that's my opinions. You guys can have your own thoughts and opinions. Those are mine. Dr. Campbell submitted that, although, innocence or proof of guilt and all of that, it's just allegations. There's no pattern, there's no conspiracy. It's just some stuff that they do, you know. The documents did not result in the removal of restrictions. The the reduction of restrictions, the avoidance of regulatory proceedings, the closure of the GMC investigation, obtaining of employment, or any professional advantage. The regulatory process continued throughout the restrictions remained in place, and the matter proceeded to a full tribunal hearing. He submitted that whatever benefit may theoretically have been contemplated, no actual benefit was ever realized in practice. Yeah, you didn't find out. So how could it be? You never got to that conclusion. And obviously, the information on this is redacted. Dr. Khan submitted that doctors concentrate a lot on medical knowledge, literature, and not to cause any harm to patients, but that also legal stuff and ethical stuff are very important. Whereas safety, the best interests of the patient. Oh yeah, because that's what the General Medical Council represents, and you just disregard all of that, right? Important, which was the main lesson he had learned, and that he needed to study this more and consider these issues in his practice. He submitted he had already read a lot of sources online about ethics and the importance of honesty, and would search if there were any courses in place online in the UK or Finland or anywhere in the world about ethics, honesty, and good medical practice. Why didn't you quote the GMC? Like, why didn't you tell them that you were looking at theirs? Dr. Cameron submitted that the tribunal had recognised that he was engaged XXX and continued to work as a radiologist. There had been no evidence of patient harm, and no insight continued to develop. Oh, and that his insight continued to develop. Dr. Campbell submitted that, whilst he accepts that the insight is not yet complete, early stages, insight is not absent. Well, I have the absent. Yeah, exactly. You have the insight, but whether or not you work on those things is a choice. And since you're still in the early stages, anyway, I don't even know what they're chatting about. Like, I got my ideas of what they're chatting about, but I could be wrong. Dr. Campbell submitted that whilst he accepts the insight, his insight is not yet complete. Insight is not absent. What it was at the time, and it was also absent when you falsified those records. So how could you say that it's not absent when it clearly is? This is a narcissist through and through. He submitted that. He admitted the misconduct. It's like, yeah, I confessed. I accepted responsibility, engaged honestly throughout these proceedings. No, you didn't. You lied. And reflected upon the serious the consequences of your action. No, you didn't. And that's a lie. He submitted that. He has also taken practical steps to ensure that nothing similar could occur again, and if he required XXX evidence in the future, he would obtain it through XXX or official channels. He submitted that if he encountered regulatory difficulties, he would seek appropriate legal, professional, and XXX advice rather than attempting to manage such matters alone. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Where are we? I don't want to be repeat. Yeah, I think this is repeats. It's now putting me on the Twitch. Right, I'm gonna come off of this. Alright, what to expect? yeah, I'm gonna leave this up because this has been educational. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and if you've made it this far into the video, wow, well done you. I love you. Right. God bless everybody, and I'm gonna do some more of these because we don't hear about these cases unless you look for it, and that was shocking. So, good day. 230 odd minutes of yapping. God bless.